I, 31F, have lost all desire for my 31M fiancé. Am I overreacting? My fiancé told me he watches porn for the variety, and he specifically watches black women since he already has a white woman. I asked if I was enough, and he blatantly told me no. I asked why, and he said because sometimes he doesn't want to disturb me by asking for more rounds. To me, that is a cop-out, considering that after round 1, I ask if he wants more, and he always says no, only for him to go finish with porn. He would watch it before making love to me and after. I lost all attraction for him, especially since he took it upon himself to tell me months ago that he thinks watching porn is cheating, and he promised me he would stop, even though at the time I didn't know he was watching porn, nor did I care. I only started to care after he made the cheating comment, because if you think it's cheating, why are you doing it? I caught him with porn on his phone after he told me he'd stop, and when confronted, he told me he doesn't view it as cheating anymore and he misspoke. And that's where I lost my desire for sex entirely. I feel so lost and want to know if I am overreacting. Girl, so you want to marry a porn addict? Just leave and never look back. He won't change. Get out before you're stuck in a marriage you'll be unhappy with. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. The porn aside, he sounds like a jerk. That's enough reason to leave. Bruh, my wife knows I watch on occasion, but if she ever asked me if she was enough, my default response would be that she's everything I've ever wanted and more than I ever dreamed of. Who TF tells their partner they flat out aren't enough? And how do these guys even find partners when there's so many decent single dudes that would just never do this? It sounds like you're carrying a heavy burden, and while it's understandable to feel disconnected when trust and intimacy are compromised, knowing that you're not alone in feeling this way might offer some comfort. You deserve a relationship where you feel valued and cherished without needing to question your worth. The lies will keep flowing until he wants to actually stop and change for himself. Nothing will get better and he will only get better at hiding it. Please check out our Love After Porn. It has a lot of resources for you. Is it reasonable for me, 26M, to not answer my GF's 26F? Am I prettier than her? Questions? This is a really sore point in the relationship, but it is something I feel unwilling to budge on because of the way it can just get worse and worse and worse. My partner struggles with confidence issues, so often asks me if she thinks I'm pretty or beautiful. The answer is yes, obviously, and I always say, yes, obviously. However, she also asks it in a different way, and I have a different answer that causes problems. She will ask me if I am prettier than some of my exes, or if I am prettier than some of my friends, or even if she's prettier than strangers in the street. I say, I don't want to do this or something similar, and have explained that if I start saying yes, I am allowing her to start digging at my friendships, my past relationships, and even our relationship in a way that I don't like. I don't believe in comparing yourself to others, and I believe that if I indulge in this I will only cause more harm than the current upset she feels when I don't answer. I will always answer, am I pretty? But will never answer, am I prettier than her? And it causes problems that I am still unsure of how to resolve. Am I valid in this? I might defend my stance, but I am open to the idea that I'm not. You are right, she is being a child. Let her know she is enough and her being pretty is part of why you chose to be with her. Maybe from time to time tell her that she is pretty or how gorgeous she looks, that way you will reassure her without comparing her to someone else. In your position I'd probably say something like, I'm biased because I know and like you. I'm not going to do comparisons, I don't think it leads anywhere healthy. Comparison is a thief of joy. I agree nothing good can come from these questions. Mate, can you really deal with this for the next 50 years? Very smart and not indulging this behavior. I found my husband trying to cheat a few weeks right after I gave birth to our son. 38M35F. I gave birth 4 or 5 weeks ago, and it's been really hectic. I am exhausted and sleep deprived and hazy every morning, and after recently checking my husband's behavior I have been even more stressed out and feel betrayed. My husband has been spending way too much time outside the house nowadays. He does help in cleaning the house, prepares all the meals, but the time he spends with me sometimes the kid has been minimum to none. I had complications during labor and expected him to at least show a bit of consideration and warmth, but instead he's just detached and doesn't even talk. I asked him about him a few days ago, and his excuse was that I was spending too much time with the baby. Mind you that we had this baby after a lot of failures, and last year we even had a miscarriage. I had fallen down from a very steep set of stairs and it was terrible. That time still haunts me and I want to make it up by spending as much as I can with my now baby son. Whenever I'm breastfeeding he leaves the room and doesn't enter. He even tried to get me into watching some lame-ass movie with him. It was nice that he set the bed and made my favorites but didn't want the baby to be with me. I told him that I was a mother now and had priorities and he went out of the room, saying nothing the next morning. A few days after that he ordered me a necklace and it was really pretty, but I didn't let him put it on me and he didn't talk much after that. Recently a few of my friends had also come to visit, and they made a few jokes about him acting like a man-child when I told them about how he was acting. He got into a fight with me afterward. I admit that I had told him to sleep elsewhere rather than in our bedroom. I felt the need for space and it suffocated me at times to have another body touching me, especially when I feel extremely disgusted with how everything has changed. I told him that the baby needs me and that I'm doing all I can. He isn't the one waking up at 3 or 4 in the morning to calm the baby, nor is he the one feeding the baby. I'm the one who went through all the pain and should be the one getting a bit of pampering, but he doesn't do it anymore. A week after birth, he was perfect. He brought me sweets, hugged me randomly, massaged me when I felt too drained, and used to bring a small flower every day. He does none of that anymore, and it's a sudden shift which I find odd and disturbing. He sat with me, made me laugh, said random stuff to the baby. He still brings stuff home, maybe a small toy or whatever groceries are required, but whenever he sees me with the baby he just turns and leaves. When the baby is alone though, he spends time with him, often initiating skin-to-skin contact. He's been obsessed since the doctors told him about it, and gets him to say small words. He adores his son, but he's stopped engaging much with me. I heard from one of our mutuals, who is my husband's co-worker too, that he had been seen laughing around a lot with one of his assistants around the coffee house nearby. She's pretty young and is good looking too. I told him that if he wanted to do all that he should just leave before it gets too messy, and retorts by saying I was too friendly with my ex when he congratulated me for my son and sent a few gifts. I had only talked to my ex for a while and let him come home to see the baby. My husband just cooked and went to sleep in the room. It bugs me how he didn't deny it or even defend himself, and is trying to take revenge on someone who literally gave birth to his own son. Too long did not read. My husband's trying to find other fish while I'm nursing his son alone at home. I am very confused by your entire post. Something does not add up. It appears that a lot is missing from the story here. Wait, what is the evidence that he is trying to cheat? That he has been laughing with a coworker? Honestly, something seems to be missing here. You've kicked him out of bed, you've refused when he tried to give you a necklace, you complain about him to your friends even though you admit that he was pampering you and that he loves holding the baby, and when he tried to plan something fun for you too, you tell him you have other priorities. Also, a less than 2-month-old is not saying words, so I'm not sure what you mean by your husband getting the baby to say words. You seem like a deeply unreliable narrator. You invited your ex to see your newborn baby? That seems odd. It's very weird to invite your ex to see you and your current spouse's baby. I'm surprised he isn't demanding a paternity test immediately. Me, 34 male, discovered my wife of 4 years, 33 female, may have cheated. You will understand the may part soon. My wife and I have had a few intimacy issues. I had testicular cancer, which has lowered my testosterone, cancer-free. Now I haven't done all I could to get my levels up. With my general laziness and starting a new career, I haven't done much to help this, also don't want to go the artificial route. Because of that, we definitely had issues. She was not feeling satisfied and feared rejection from me. Couple that with wanting to start a family, it has been tough. So yesterday, I was hungover and tired, so I had myself a lazy day. She decided to go for a shopping day, something she rarely does. She told me Victoria's Secret was a stop. Yay me. She did send me 2 spicy photos, I liked them both. But something was off in the second photo, she didn't show her face. She has never done that in the 7 total years we had been with each other. When she got home she decided to give me a fashion show of what she got. While she was changing, I went into her phone to prank text our friend. Something we do often. But I noticed she had Snapchat, we haven't had that in forever. I looked at the messages, only one, to someone named F, clearly not their name. It said something along the lines of, I would touch myself publicly possibly, if someone was watching. With that I went to her messages, nothing. Checked Facebook Messenger, found F, and read the messages. She doesn't know right now that I read those messages. But within the messages, it was obvious they had a relationship a long time ago, and they were flirting. Reminiscing about that one time on his birthday. She did not stop this conversation. He suggested they go to Snapchat, she downloaded it from that. So now I know a lot, and wanted to see how she will react to me suggesting Snapchat. She said she just re-downloaded it because of her girlfriend sending her things. When she opened it she scrolled quickly from that message, and wouldn't let me play with her Snapchat. Finally I had enough, and confronted her, asking who is F. She turned red and knew she was caught. She told me they were just friends in high school and she reached out because she had a random thought of him. Then the conversation evolved into him telling her that his fiancé and him have had intimacy issues, which sparked them to confront their desires by telling each other their fantasies. Now I know she is lying, I know they had relationships, and he never said anything about a fiancé in his messages, even after she told him about us trying to start a family. None of his social accounts have any mention or picture of said fiancé. He doesn't post much of anything, but come on, who doesn't post something that big? Some of the last messages in the chat before they went to Snapchat was, "You look good." Now my wife claims no photos were sent, and I just don't believe her, who goes to Snapchat and not sent a photo. She is claiming she had no intention of cheating and that it was mostly just letting out frustrations. But in those messages, she never stopped him from pushing sexy talk. She also went along with it and flirted back. And conveniently all messages on Snap delete themselves. She also deleted her Facebook messages. She finally told me later that they did have sex back in college. He lives in a different country, so I know they haven't done anything physical now. But they just confided in each other because of the intimacy issues. But I just don't buy it. No mention of a fiancé in the messages that I could see. Literally the conversation lead to flirting and sexy talk way too easily with no resistance. And the last messages saying, "You look good," after Snapchat was sent? She may have had not intentions of cheating on me, but she had zero intention of not sexting another man that she slept with in the past. She did message him that the conversation needs to come to an end. But apparently he hasn't responded yet. If she tells me that he responded with no evidence, I don't know if I'll be able to believe her. Now I'm at a loss. This is horrible. She may not have cheated on me physically, but wasn't she heading down that road anyway? I have signed us up for counseling, but if I learn more tonight after telling her I read those messages, there might be no point. Now I can take responsibility for her getting to a point of searching for comfort. But to not even put up a fight, to reach out to someone she hasn't talked to in years and slept with? Also her getting lingerie is something she hasn't done in years. Anytime I have tried to get her to, she doesn't. As much as I love her, this is almost unforgivable for me. Even if I did forgive her, I don't forget, and I don't know if I could ever trust her again. Would the counseling actually help? Is the life we built done? I am devastated. Update. First, I want to say there is a lot of details not in here, of course. There was still intimacy, but nowhere near the level she wants. Thank you for all the responses, even the rude ones. She did cheat, and she admitted to it. She told me that the pictures sent were not in lingerie, mostly just suggestive. Do I believe that? Not really. I need this to be heard. While I didn't do much for my T-level, I didn't do nothing. And we did talk about our struggles with intimacy. But the truth is I didn't do much about it. I didn't do a lot to help. These faults are on me. I firmly believe in cause and effect. This is what happens when you don't date your wife. What she did is horrendous, but not without reason. I am not condoning what she did, just speaking in simple facts. We are going to counseling. We are going to see if there is any trust we can build again. We built a life together, and we both made mistakes. It won't be easy, but we deserve a chance to make it right. She is cheating. It's not a maybe. I would suspect they communicated before and he was the reason for the lingerie. For me, that would be enough. It's a lot harder to be walked on when you are standing up. Update me. Cheating doesn't require physical sex. This is relationship energy that should be focused on the relationship, and she's giving it to another man. That's cheating in my book. Nobody needs to be discussing intimacy issues with an old flame, and then start flirting. What's your definition of cheating? Do you define cheating texting another man? Is her secrecy and lying enough not to trust her? Is her deleting Facebook Messenger messages not enough? Your story has more red flagga than a Chinese parade. Your laziness about not fixing a possible low T, that's on you. Her doing all this and not having a discussion about yours and hers intimacy issues is the issue. Maybe she should have given you an ultimatum and filed for divorce. At least then she would have maintained a moral high ground. I don't know why you go to counseling. Like, what are you going to discover there? You already know what happened. She was having an emotional affair because she wasn't getting any at home. So what will you do? Go pay someone an ungodly sum of money to sit and listen to how horrible you having cancer was on someone else? She knew what she was doing. If I'd spent some years trying to get my partner to play a little naughty with sexy outfits but couldn't, then found out they were doing it with someone else, forget it. I'd divorce. The lingerie photos were for him, not you. She was doing it for him and she just wanted to cover her tracks by sending some to you. You decide what you want to do, but just know you're now allowing this stuff to be okay if you let it go. She knows she can get away with it and that you'll give her a slap on the wrist. I would make sure she knows how serious this is and make sure she knows you know she lied. Then walk away.